sacrificing for Provex. Am I going to do it? I might throw a couple shekels at it. I don't see why not. I mean, I wasn't here for the last sacrifice, so I don't really feel a way like the others do. Well, we'll see. I mean, like I said, I have no biases towards this by any stretch of the imagination. It's just looking at just the immediate, what happened in the past with the last sacrifice. Some people didn't benefit as greatly off that. Some did. Some people did benefit greatly off of it. There's others that their sacrifice price is different than others. Not everyone got the same sacrifice price. Other, if you were an early sacrificer, um, your capital basically got you in at a much lower rate. So the people who were later on in the sacrifice phase, you know, their price is a lot different than whales who were able to scoop up at a much cheaper cost per unit than others did. Some people's sacrifice rate is three zeros and a one, or somewhere around there. So, I mean, just judging it off face value right now, I'd say I would sacrifice, but I wouldn't like throw my entire like other bags at this. It's like it's one of those things like if something happens from it, cool. But if nothing happens from it, whatever. Um, I personally think there could be a great turnout, but I do think that in the future there could be a better opportunity to scoop up more if you really do like it at a much probably cheaper rate. Who knows? Uh, Again, maybe I'm wrong and it takes off immediately and it was the best sacrifice ever. Nobody knows really, but Um, I can just speak for myself. Like I have a lot of bags in Pulse Chain, so it's not like I'm gonna, dump what I got here just to sacrifice ETH or stables over there. So I don't even really think the sacrifice is for our community. I think that's why core tokens aren't accepted, purposely, in my opinion. Um, and a lot of people are just getting offended, like that, Richard's asking you to sacrifice again or whatever. And just by what he's accepting in the coins that he is choosing to accept for the sacrifice, I'm guessing that eliminates all of you. So that means, or at least more than half the herd, I would say, because I would imagine there's a lot of people that are just really balls deep into pulse chain and stuff. So yeah, I think the sacrifice is more or less for the ETH people, maybe even outside ETH people like BNB, Soul people, people who just want DeFi and they want to be somewhat first to cool innovation. People might hate on Richard Hart in public, but they certainly do bet on him when it comes to the blockchain, so I wouldn't doubt if this was a very successful sacrifice, and I also wouldn't doubt if this took some time to play out. And who knows, maybe you get to have better opportunities just waiting it out and seeing what people do once this comes out, or how they decide to treat this. If they decide, you know, to dump it down like they did Pulse Chain for so long, you could get a better deal later on. But maybe if you're an early sacrificer, maybe the floor for you is different. Maybe, you know, you'll benefit more because your price margin is better. Who knows? But yeah, for me personally, it would just be like a couple bucks, more probably more than a couple bucks, but definitely not anywhere near like a portion of my portfolio where it like really affects me. But yeah, I mean, I think this is bullish. I take this as, this is a lot to be working on behind the scenes. This is pretty new, innovative tech we're talking about. We're not talking about just like a fork of something, or, this is a game changer. If you really want to get technical into it, um, matter of fact, I won't do it this time around, but I will go into what Provex is, what utility it serves, That'll just be for a different video. But I just thought I'd give my take on, you know, what are my thoughts on the sacrifice? What does it mean for the community? I think it's all net positive. It's just how you're interpreting it. If you're interpreting that the sacrifice, like he's talking to you, then yeah, you could feel a certain way for sure. But I don't think he is personally. I think this is more for outsiders, and um, I'll be interested to see like as time moves forward, like does the sacrifice raise up like a lot of capital? What is, then what do you do with that capital, right? So it'll be interesting to see for sure. But yeah, overall, I'd say Pulse Chain community definitely has more activity than I think definitely 6 months ago. And even though price doesn't really reflect it right now, I think there's great opportunities to be had even still. People do crazy scenarios, theories about what can happen with price action and all that good stuff. I'm just confident that the founder, understands what community wants, which is price go up, because that's all he talks about is price appreciation of stuff. So I'd imagine it's going to happen in a orderly fashion that's going to be good for the community, good for him, um, and just maybe just good for overall cryptocurrency too. Like the timing just has to be there, the right moment. So none of us really knows when that is. We could just speculate on it.